you?
I only have one friend that has asthma, and that's Kedra. But she has like situational asthma, meaning it's kind of like she uses it to get out of things. Like one time we like did a shot, and she just started choking out of the blue. She was like, "I can't do anymore because my asthma." It's like literally had nothing to do with the same thing. And then she actually had asthma.
Greetings, and welcome to Next Stop Loading, the Growth Series. I am your host, Melissa, aka Stella, overworked millennial turned freshman entrepreneur. So did things really change? Right. Anyhow, each week I'll bring you a conversation with phenomenal women in various industries that are doing and or have done what the pandemic is teaching all of us to do. Figure it out. I hope this series engages and inspires you to grow with us on this journey navigating this thing called life. I hope you know that you're not alone. Join us. Take 1,000. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our growth series for Next Stop Loading. Today, we have a very special guest. We have been keying and cackling for a few years on these social media platforms. We've known of each other for several years, but I mean, the relationship built over social media, it has been unmatched. So I am pleased to have with us Miss Jazmin Moragne.
Hello, it's me.
Clap it up, burr, 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 burr. Special guest and things. I got you. I'll even, insert.
I love that intro. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, if you will, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and where you do it.
Hello. No, my name is, as previously stated, Jazmin Moragne. I am originally from Arkansas, Little Rock to be exact. I currently reside in Cedar Hill, Texas, not Dallas. They get real sensitive if you say it that way, so I'm just going to clarify it is in Cedar Hill, Dallas County. I am a flight attendant that is working currently on her certification to become a doula full time. So... Okay.
It's
a lot. It's a lot.
The transition kind of, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
It's a lot.
I'm excited to get into
I know.
both of those things. So,
I love it here.
Flight attendant.
Yes.
How long have we been doing that?
8 years.
8 years? Are we that old?
Listen, I actually have commitment issues, so when I actually hit 8 years, I was like, y'all lying to me.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice. I would have been but yes, 8 years. We're getting there. I mean, not me, like other people.
Absolutely.
That I happen to have went to school with. I'm not though.
Exactly.
Be safe though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how do we even get to flight attendant? Because I don't know about you, but growing up, when you talk about like what you want to be when you grow up, and the options that are kind of presented to you or were presented to you, I would say me, because let me speak about me. I don't know about your household. But flight attendant was just not one of them. You heard doctor, lawyer, and when people ask me, it was never any of those things. But anyway, back to you. How did we get to flight attendant?
Growing up, I wanted to be a vet.
Interesting.
And did none of that.
It happened.
So, I had a family member who worked for a different airline, and they were just like, oh, they're going to hire for the flight attendant. I had just moved to Dallas.
Okay.
And they were just like, oh, they're going to, and also really quick, I did the usual move to Dallas, work some call center. I had never worked in a call center before.
Gotcha.
And I was like, this is not for me. I've seen all I need to see. So Southwest was opening up their hiring process. It was literally where you had to know somebody that knew somebody that knows something about it, because it closed in 20 seconds. So if you got in, you got in. So there were like 4 of us here, like working to get my login in to keep me on the page. And I went to the interview and bombed it. I froze. I didn't say anything. They asked me questions. I had no answers. And it was the wildest thing because I've never done it.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, everybody gonna hear about this. so when I actually applied for the company that I work for now, they hired for the first time since 9/11 when they hired. So they had 100,000 applicants that they had to go through. Yeah. And I secretly applied because I had bombed the first interview that I didn't want to like tell people that I bombed the second.
Absolutely.
So when I applied secretly, I didn't tell anybody. I was just ducking off to go because it's a 7-step interview process. So you fill out an application, then you move forward where they send you an actual application. Then you have to do a video interview, which is really great because I was wearing like a blazer, really cute blazer and a top and basketball shorts. Like no one could see me from the waist down.
So this is like virtual pre-pandemic.
Early.
Before it was a thing.
Early vibes. We've been those girls. And so then we moved to, okay, great. Fill out this questionnaire and a quiz. They want to ask you tell us a time when you feel like your customer service really showed through. And I was like, okay. So then you do that, and then you had to move forward with in person. So you did it in person, and it was just a room full of people. And so you're literally just like
not a panel interview, but a room full of people.
You're in a room full of people, and you need to do an icebreaker.
For the people.
Like everyone in the room. And then they put you in groups, and then they invited certain people to go and do another group interview. And then once you did that, they pulled you in a separate room if you made it. And they were just like, so we want to hire you. But first, you have to go through like all these other hoops. So you have to do your background check. And then it's really funny. You have to be able to touch a ring in an imaginary overhead bin to see if you're tall enough. Which they don't ask you to take your shoes off. So it's not really like a real test. So if you're wearing heels, they're just like, great, good job. Yeah, it's literally like the ring is like that wall. Like it's just like, if you could just tap. And then they're just like, oh, thank you. And they do a background check. And then they say they'll be in contact. I did that in probably March and then heard absolute radio silence.
Because the suspense.
Yes. And then in October, they were just like, hey, we're going to start training you at the end of the month. So that's literally it. Then I had to call my mom and go, I said, I got the job. And she's like, oh my gosh, great. Where? Because I forgot I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone. I was just out here. I literally got the email and just ran out of the house. Like literally just ran out. And everyone, they just let me because I'm dramatic. No one, they were just like, there she goes. But I became a flight attendant because it was something that you hadn't heard of. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anyone that was doing that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this could be fun. What could it hurt? It hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit.
Don't believe the hype, guys.
Listen, listen, honestly, if we're gonna have a real conversation.
Let's have a real conversation.
No, that was gonna be a horrible thing to say. Being a flight attendant is hard. I don't want to make the podcast like take a turn. But there was a flight attendant that killed herself this week.
Oh my God.
She was a new mom. She had a baby last week.
Was she back at work after having this?
No. She had only been off like 6 days. I mean, like,
oh wow.
We don't really get like a maternity leave, or they give you like a slight paternity leave, so the dads can stay home too. But they're very much like, come back soon, And so, but no, it's very, being a flight attendant it's fun. You get to go. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram,
we'll you know that details.
I know you'll
in the show notes.
You'll learn that I will just be like, oh, it's Tuesday on an island, and that's pretty much when I post. Because to be honest, I'm never gonna post when I'm in Omaha. I'm literally just gonna make the life seem really great because this is when it's exciting for me. Like so yeah, I'm in Jamaica on Tuesdays, but it's really lonely. Like, flight attendants get very overwhelmed because a conversation that I had with a couple of friends is that, like, when you're a flight attendant, you kind of get hyped because it's a dream job.
Right.
But it's asking yourself, is it your dream job? Okay. Because that's when it's like, yeah, I like to. Okay, so when I first got hired, I got on a plane. I was so excited. It was my first day. And then I remembered, I don't like flying. I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't been on a plane. I hadn't been on a plane in 3 years. Training was the most intense thing I had ever gone through. You do training for 8.5 weeks unpaid. You live in a dorm.
What
yep.
kind of tryout
You-
is this?
you live-
This is slavery, guys.
No, it says they say they want you to see what it's like to be a flight attendant. So you might have class.
Indentured servant.
Listen, you might have class from like 3 to 10
for 2 months
on like Monday, and then on Wednesday your class is at 3 a.m. Like they wanted you to see what it's like to have an inconsistent schedule and not be able to go home. You got one off day during the week, and you stayed on campus. So they fed you, they gave you room and board, but like,
have you ever pledged?
Listen, I absolutely have not. No. When I heard there were things called Hell Week, and I was like, that doesn't really sound. That doesn't sound really.
You had 8.
Yeah, so it's like you literally like do this training, and you have quizzes on everything, and it's not just like where's X, Y, and Z. You need to learn every single plane inside and out. And if you fail, they're like, okay, go ahead and go home. Like, that's literally it. They would just send you home. And so it's like, okay, well, I don't want to tell people that I didn't make it.
Absolutely.
Because, hello.
Here we are.
Yeah,
right.
So, but yeah, like, you do training that long. So then, like, once you finally make it, it's graduation. You get to invite your family and your friends, and everybody shows up, and somebody gets to pin your wings on you, and you're like, polyester for the rest of my days. Oh my, you know? And you get like really thrilled. And so I'm like, I graduated like December 13th. My first trip was Christmas because, you know, you're super junior. You are not getting off for holidays.
Absolutely.
But I got to spend it. But for the first time, I got to spend my first Christmas for 26 hours on Miami Beach. So I'm literally like, look at y'all wearing coats. And I'm not. Haha. It's not really a real thing because Arkansas doesn't really get snow. But like, so it's like really great. But then it's like, you're like, dang, you're not with your family for Christmas. And on top of that, we like took off. We're like literally boarding the plane and we're about to take off. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, I was literally like, I'm like, when was the last time I got on a plane? And I think it was like 3.5 years earlier, I was going to a Wayne concert in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. But I was asleep. You know, it's not like I had to do stuff. Like, you need to know, like, when there's a bump or there's like a little bit of turbulence, people are staring at you. And you're just like, girl, I'm here with you. Like, I don't.
It's me if I'm not asleep. I'm like, hello.
And I'm just sitting there smiling at people, and they're just like, how long? And I'm just like, 30 minutes. I don't know. 30 minutes is a good time.
Great customer service.
Excellent. I'm going to have an answer for you all the time. Don't know if it's what you want. I'm just going to have an answer for you. And so that's how flying is excellent when it's excellent. But there are days and then there are times where you want to be with your family and you just absolutely cannot. And yeah.
So I learned so much.
It's a lot.
In that preparation of, becoming a flight attendant. So I have 3 questions from that explanation. Okay. So one would be like, what were you doing between March and October before you got the call?
Working my call center job still.
Bless you.
Yes. So I'm sitting there trying not to be like, I'm leaving y'all, like really excited, but just working every day. Like, am I leaving y'all? And so then when they finally gave me the notification, it was like 2 weeks. They literally gave you they honestly gave you 8 days. And I was like, this is fine. Because I'm not coming back here. So
right.
This is, I'm a great employee, but I'm never coming back here. And telling my boss that I was not returning was.
How did that feel?
It was an amazing week because, my boss was a Black woman. My supervisor was a Black woman. So, in the very beginning, we had a rough start. Because the thing about me is, I'm not gonna work. So, I was literally that person at the call center who's putting their thing on oh yeah, I'm switching to pre-hold, but I'm walking around the call center. You can see me, I'm literally not at my desk. And so we had it rough for a couple of weeks. And then finally she was just like, you know what it is? She's like, I think it's just because I really like you as a person, but as my employee, it's a little iffy. So yeah, I kind of learned that my personality kept me in a couple places. So, but the last week of me saying hey, I'm not coming back, I didn't work all that week. She had me running her errands outside of the office. She was just like, hey, we're gonna do a crew or a team luncheon. Why don't you go pick that order up? Why don't you go do? So I was literally just not working.
It seemed like that may have been the best week ever.
It was, honestly, because I had no idea what was coming. I'm living in a dorm. We had to do pool drills.
Can you swim?
Yeah, for my life.
Understood. Fair.
Out here playing with people? No, do not throw me in a pool. But for my life, or you gonna go to jail? Okay.
Hello. Second question is, what was your icebreaker? Do you remember what your icebreaker?
I do not remember my icebreaker.
You don't remember it?
You had to tell like some random fact. It was like the 2 truths and a lie. Okay. And mine were, I wanted to be a vet growing up. I used to play football. And the other one was, I've been to, because this is a flight attendant thing. I've been to like 3 countries. And of course, all the flight attendants are like, oh, we've all gone to 3 countries. And I was like, boom, that's the lie. I was a football player. What's up? I used to play powder puff football. What's up? And everyone was like, what? I was like, yeah, I didn't see it, but it's here. It's here.
Boom.
What's up? Here. Joke's on you. You thought. I've been nowhere outside of Texas and Arkansas. What's up?
And now we're here.
And here we are.
There we go. So, you realized when you stepped on the plane that you really enjoy flying, and the irony there is just
it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. I called my mom. It was a good talk. Because she was like, what? She was like, you didn't realize this before you went through? I said, never thought about it. I was literally just focusing day to day to survive through training, that I never was like, on the other side of this, I was just like, oh, I'm going to be a flight attendant. And then I was like, girl, what? And it was literally, I got on the plane. My very first trip I ever did was a Indianapolis layover in December, as I stated. So they already had like 8 inches of snow on the ground.
Wow.
The number one thing when you came out of training, which this video is gonna go against that, but you needed to wear red lipstick and have red fingernails. It was called Lips and Tips. And that you were that girl. If you had to be completely in compliance. You had to be completely you had to be completely in compliance. Your hair could not be 8 inches past your shoulder. Like you needed to be pinned up, dolled up, fully suited.
Who would not have made it? Look at me.
I went through like 13 different trials of lipstick. I was like, I gotta find the perfect one. I had to do this. And my best friend Kedra actually found the perfect lipstick. We went to Sephora and she was like, put this on, girl, I'm tired.
That's what friends
are
for.
But she literally was like, here, put this on, I'm tired of doing this with you. And it was like, it happened to be the one. And so, so I was on the plane and I remember we woke up that morning, it was about to be Christmas. And we woke up that morning, and I'm thinking places closed because it's snow, but not real places. When they have snow, they're just like, yeah, we do this.
Right.
But Arkansas and Dallas are like, is that a drop?
We don't move.
Because close it up. So I got on the plane and I was just like, oh, this is going to be so great. And I was like, girl, I don't know what I'm doing. And so we got on the plane, my very first flight, we had 26 people connecting to Seoul, Korea. And I'll never forget it because they weren't going to make it. So this is an extended, like when you have a delay, like there are procedures. And so it was my first flight. There were other flight attendants that were just like flying as passengers. So they're like super nice. They're like, oh my gosh, it's her first trip. Look at her. Like, great. And I'm just like, thank you. And so I'm like trying to find, so they're like, Jazmin, go get the da-da-da. And I'm just like, where is that? And so they're just like, we had to find the emergency snack kit because we pushed away from the gate. And they were like, y'all are going to sit here for a long time. You can sit for 3 hours max before they have to take you back to the gate. Like legally they have to take you back. And so we were there for
is that not kidnap?
Well, you paid to be here. Well, so technically people know where you are.
Okay.
And if you didn't, jokes on you. So we pushed out and then the captain was like, yeah, we're gonna sit here for, they always do this thing where they tell you like 30 minutes, 45. We just called again. It's going to be another hour. So we don't really know either unless they call us. So they were just like, we need to get the emergency snack kit. So I'm like trying to get the snack kit. People are like pissed and everyone's like mad. And they're just like, well, you work here. And I'm just like,
fix it.
I'm like, barely, like I don't really like work here. Like I just showed up in my polyester at the time they told me to, sir. I really don't know. And they're just like, well, I have a flight. It's they want you to do the math. If we get there at this time, my flight is at this time. What time will?
Ma'am, sir.
Please. So I remember everybody looked at me and the flight attendants were like, this is your first day. How do you feel? And I looked at them and I said, my lipstick is still on. Because that was like, I was like, at least I'm presentable. Like, this is
absolutely.
it.
I'm still following protocol. I'm here. I'm in compliance.
it was chaotic. Fortunately, the number one flight attendant was a Black woman. And she had been working for 33 years. And she is a person who is what you call, what we not going to do today on my flight is. And so
love it.
When people would get up and she would just go, is the seatbelt sign off? Sit back down. Like, she was not. And so I was just like, this is great because it takes off me. And so she was like, Jazmin, you need to go do this. And she told me everything to do. And so once that trip was over, I was just like, oh, this isn't that bad. Because what they don't tell you is in flight attendant training, I mean, which is very important, they focus on the emergencies. They focus on you're over water. Someone has a bomb. Like, they focus on all that they don't even tell you. Sometimes you're just going to go to work and people just want drinks. They do not. Like, they're just like, that's simple. We don't need to talk about that. So I'm prepared on the very first day for whatever life throws at me.
Right.
And the only thing it threw at me was snow. And I was just like, you guys, it's like your adrenaline being like on 1,000, but it's really unnecessary. So you don't know how to come down. So my very first trip, I was just like, this isn't going to be hard. And then it took me like a year to learn it. Every day I went to work and I was just like, today's the day that I'm prepared. And every day it was like, you don't have to, you really can talk like not much.
So with them, because now my wheels are turning, have you ever had to deal with a significant emergency?
Thank God, absolutely not.
Amen.
I've never had, and the worst thing that's happened to me on the plane is, now with this new COVID, I've been having to get people arrested, but they've been showing out, and now I am in the what we're not gonna do in this flight is state of mind, because you can do that somewhere else.
She's arrived.
She ain't gonna stay here, because let me tell you what we're not gonna do any of that. The entitlement on this not private jet is so high. It is so high. Like, people are just like, well, you need to figure it out, and I'm just like,
actually.
And I like to tell people, you know what I can do? I can upgrade your ticket. I can get you a first class seat to the terminal. We can get you right off this plane, baby. I have no issues with, because I got skills and I can do that. Can't do nothing else. But the worst thing that's happened is probably just vomit. Like, that's it. There's never been.
And that's pretty significant to me, to be in a enclosed space with a passenger vomiting.
Oh no, my favorite thing. We had 2 medical emergencies, and they weren't really emergencies, which is why I can say they were my favorite. Nobody died. Okay. I've never been a part of that. But it was Christmas. We were going to Cabo. This woman came back to the bathroom.
Pause. First, we had Miami for Christmas, first flight.
Oh yeah.
In this scenario, we have Cabo for Christmas. Did you hear that, ladies?
We got a little bit senior. And what happened was, people don't want to work on Christmas because they want to go spend time with their families.
Exactly.
I do not. I am not one of those people. I will FaceTime them. Hey girl, hope you like that sweater. Oh, I ruined it. Okay, have a good time. gotta go. Don't have service on the beach.
All from the beach.
Literally. Like, and then y'all will see me on Instagram. Y'all will be like, family time. And I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. Swimsuit, what's up? Like, no, it's like, so we had this woman came back to the bathroom, and then passed out. Literally, like, she was standing there, and we noticed that, like, the doors were empty. Like, the bathrooms were empty, but she wouldn't open the door. And she just stood there, and then you literally saw her just go back. And people tried to catch her. They were really nice. And so she came to really easy. And so we were like, are you okay? And she was just like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm probably just tired. Like, and we were just like, okay, well, we still gonna get you out. You know, like, we need to, like, do things to make sure you're okay. And fortunately, there was a doctor on the plane.
Amen.
He was sitting right by the bathroom, too, next to his mom. Well, actually, it was really funny because he didn't say anything. His mom was like, my son's a doctor. My son. And he was like, no, it's Christmas. Like, he was like, please don't do this. and so her husband,
without you.
Yo, literally, she, like, for no reason, like, literally, we were just like, are you okay? And we were just like, we might need to get a doctor. And she was like, my son. So we thought she was yelling.
Proudly.
Yeah, we thought she was yelling something wrong with her son. And she's just like, no, my son, he's a doctor. And he was like, they don't need me. Like, he literally was just like, they don't need me. And we were just like, well, no, since you're here, since you're right here by the galley, let's talk. So we took, like, her vitals. She was fine. And she was traveling with her husband. And so he got really scared when she passed out. And then that caused him to have an elevated heart rate that couldn't come down. So then he comes back and he's just like, I can't breathe. My heart rate's up. Da, da, da. So we're just like, okay, come back here and sit with us. He was a very large guy, like very large. So we're just like, okay, go ahead. He's probably like 6'3", like had to be some type of football player. But we sat him down. He went through 2 oxygen tanks and we could not get his heart rate down. So then the doctor's like, we need to have the paramedics like meet the flight. So we're just like, sir, like, you know, are you scared? What's going on? They wanted to do drugs for Christmas and they had never done them before. And then they got on the plane and
the entire time you told this story, all I could think about was somebody is doing drugs. Did she take a hit in the bathroom? And then that was my first line.
The night before they were going to Cabo because they had never gone. I think it was like they had just gotten married. They were like 39 and like 42. And so they were like they were celebrating. And so they were just like, let's not go to sleep. Let's just stay up all night. So the flight was at like 8. And they were just like, it's 4 o'clock. We need to be there early. Like, let's just do these drugs now. And it was really funny because they didn't want to tell us. And we're just like, it's like your doctor, like, we can't help you if you don't tell us. And so the doctor was like, have you done anything? And he was like, so he's like staring at us. So I was like, we're going to go out here in the aisle, you know, to do safety checks. We'll be back. And so then when he came back, the doctor was like, yeah, he's done. He's done. And I was like, yeah, no, I believe that. And it was really great because once we landed, they had to put him in a wheelchair. And so we're literally watching him get wheeled out past us, like, because they had to go like the baggage claim. We all go through the same system. And so we're watching him and he's just like, thank you guys so much. And it was really funny because they were staying at the resort, the same place that we stayed at.
Hi, guys.
He's just literally just out here like living his life. And I'm just like, you could have waited. You didn't have to do this with us. But no, I've been very fortunate to not have like the worst. Oh no, that wasn't actually the worst thing that happened.
Well, here we are. What was that? That just came to mind.
It was super quick. Okay. We were flying and we had been out of Dallas probably 20 minutes. They told us that we had to turn around and go back because there was a fuel leak. And they were just like, we can't tell if we're losing a lot of gas or if the thing is broken.
Let me tell you who is terrified at this moment. Okay, what comes over the intercom? It's just we're going to turn around. Yeah. Not a fuel leak.
Why would we panic?
That would incite.
Why would we panic you? Okay. Yeah, like what? So she just goes.
If I gotta turn around, I'm already like, what?
No, the captain comes on, and she's just like, ladies and gentlemen, due to some indications in the flight deck, we have to return back to Dallas. That's it. Because what you gonna do? You're not gonna be helpful. So she told us it was a fuel leak. We land, we get to the gate, and normally when something like is happening, you're escorted by like paramedic, like they have a fire truck that will just escort you sometimes. So we see it and we're just like, yeah, this is normal procedure. When we get to the gate, firemen's actually at the bridge and they're never there. And so she was just like, hey, and he was like, what indications did you get? And she was like, oh, I just noticed that it went from like 30,000 to like 15. She was like, I noticed that it was really low. And he goes, but what else went off? And she was like, nothing. And he was like, your engine's on fire. Like you lost an engine. And I was like, excuse me? Because I was like, hold on, because take me off this trip. Who said that? And he was just like, and she was like, none of that came up in here. And I was like.
So the plane was broken.
I was like, I'm off work. Take me home.
Immediately.
I'm not even going to drive myself. I deserve to be chauffeured at this point.
At this point.
They made us work it.
I'm in shock.
They just put us on a different plane. Take care of yourself, folks.
You hear me? Because employers will not.
Listen, self-care is the best care. Take those personal days.
My God.
Yeah, because that was really wild. Because technically what happens is for you to get removed from a flight, you have to follow certain procedures. And because we weren't informed, we didn't follow those procedures, it technically wasn't labeled as an emergency. They played me.
Basically.
All the time. But yeah. So like I said, I just be showing up in my polyester at the time that I'm close to the time that I'm supposed to. I be cutting it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, at this point, you're basically a veteran, you know, and you will really understand how to navigate these things, right? Mm-hmm. But we go from, first day, I don't really think I like flying, to like a year of being like on top of it or anxious, for lack of better words, to 8 years. Mm-hmm. So what has kept you during those 8 years?
honestly, truly, the freedom of my schedule, the way that I can be anywhere on any day and then back at home. The flexibility of my schedule where I work. Okay, so on average, it's a salary. On average, you work 75 hours a month, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but that counts only as flying time. See, that's where it gets you. And you only get paid when the door's closed. So when you sign into the airport, when you're on the plane for boarding, you're not getting anything. When you're delayed, you're not getting anything. It's literally the door's closed, you're in the air. The flexibility of not having to honestly pick where to live, because I can live anywhere in the world and show up to work when I feel like it. The way that I get flight benefits. Because for my birthday, I took a solo trip in 2019. I went to Tokyo. Round trip, it was $60. I know. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So
rub it in my face.
I'm just saying. So like that ability to just be there on vacation for days. The way that I can take my mother places if she would get on the plane. She really wants to go to Australia, but she said that she won't fly more than 2 hours. I don't know.
How is she gonna?
I can't tell you.
This sounds like an odyssey.
This is honestly, she can stay at home. Honestly, she can stay at home. Like she won't go, and I'm just like, so far I have taken my mother to Orlando. Like I kid you, in the whole 8 years, in the entire 8 years I've been flying, I've only taken her to Orlando, and that was like last year. So it's like. Yikes. Like no
that hurt my cheeks.
but also the rate of pay, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because with this crossover career, I have the ability to work a minimum of 40 hours and keep all of my benefits, so it allows me the flexibility to also not knowingly not letting them know do other things. And it's the freedom and the flexibility, because during the panoramic, I got a part-time job because we got furloughed, and people were 5 days a week, and I don't get it. That really took a lot out of me when I had to wake up and go again. Like that doesn't really make
for the second, third, fourth, fifth time, and then literally, there's a weekend, and then I do it again.
Listen, when I had this job. I was like, okay, I like this job. It was the first time because I've been flying since I was 23. So honestly, in my 30s, for the first time ever, having a job where I'm on the ground, I can have groceries in the refrigerator, and I can cook when I get home, and I know what time I'm going to be at home. It was amazing. But to trade in 5 days a week to have that freedom, I was like, it's a way. It's a way that I don't have to do that. But it was like. I think I was probably the happiest I had been in a while. Because also I had relocated back to Arkansas. So I was close to my mama. But close enough where I was like, hey girl, bye. It was nice that I could just drive by. Just be like, okay. And then I just sit at home by myself. And it was like, this is amazing. But then I was like, I'm still in Little Rock every day. Every day I'm here. And I love Little Rock. A lot of people do not. I love Little Rock.
Interesting.
I stay out the way. I just go to my same places. No one knows me. So it's like, it's
the life.
I'm literally just coasting through anywhere I want to be at any time. And it's like, who's that? I don't know that person. They're just like, yeah, they went to school. That's for real? No idea. I love it. And plus, you can get anywhere in 10 minutes.
Basically.
And then in Dallas, if you drive 10 minutes, you probably just went to the gas station.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Not even the Target.
Target's a good 20.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to really want to go to Target.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Little Rock, doesn't matter what side of town you're on, you can get back to wherever or somewhere else in 10 minutes.
Wow. So we've talked about, and I'm gonna get to the transition of when you figured out that you can work a minimum of 40 and still pursue something else. But I want to go back to how we even ended up in Dallas. How was that how do we get from Little Rock to Dallas, and why Dallas?
It's gonna sound so horrible, and I'm gonna say it.
No judgment.
I came to Dallas because first of all, my mom has all of her sisters are here.
Okay.
So it was a guaranteed safety net for my mom and me. Because
that matters.
Yeah, that really matters. For me, it was like, oh, if something happens, I have family. And for mom, it was like, if I need to put hands on you, people know where you are. And so when I was growing up, Dallas was somewhere you went every summer. I spent every summer here, like middle school and high school. Wow. So Dallas was like a second home. And then Dallas was somewhere where it wasn't far from Arkansas. I mean, it's 5 hours, but it's like, it's not far. And it allowed me the opportunity to go to and from, like in the very beginning when I moved, I was at home every 2 weeks. I was clean. I was like, why did I make this decision? but to be honest, no, I had a family reunion here and I just interviewed for a job on a whim. And they were just like, can you start Monday?
It's like, well.
And I was like, what, for real? And so I was like, yeah.
Sure.
Because at the time, you're just like, sure, like this is exciting. And then you're like, oh,
and we were
God.
How old then, if you don't mind me asking?
22.
22. Okay.
Yeah. No, 22, 21. I was like about to be 22. And so it's like, this is what life is about. You relocate, you branch out. But also part of me did it because everybody, this is so bad.
It's okay, no judgment.
Everybody always talks about wanting to leave Little Rock. And I had the chance to do it.
That's true. Because
honestly, a part of me probably would have just stayed in Little Rock forever. Because I loved it that much. I didn't know anything else. And so that played a part in it. And so, but then also, when I was out of high school, fresh out of high school, I interviewed here at like Geico. And they offered me a job. And I was dating somebody at the time. And I was like, I can't imagine us being apart. And so I turned it down. We are definitely apart. No, so
what are lessons, ladies and gentlemen?
Do it for you only.
Catch it.
At all times. But yeah, I turned down the job and I was just like, I can't miss another opportunity. Like it keeps showing itself for me. I can't turn it down. And so I came out here and I don't like it. But I'm here. I'm here. Trying to pick my next city.
Oh, we'll get there.
I love them.
So, other thing we're pursuing. You said as we opened up today that you are pursuing a doula certification.
Yes.
So, for those that don't know, what is a doula?
A doula is a non-medical birth assistant, meaning the person is there for you emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like, however you need a doula, they are there for you hands-on, but they are not there to actually birth your baby.
Okay. So
a lot of people think that that's just what their partner does, but in that moment, your partner is also just trying to enjoy the birth of their, like they can't, it's a lot. So this is just somebody that's just like, hey, I pay you to help me, because a lot of people that I work with do natural births. So help me with pain management, help me get out of my head, help me zone out, help me meditate. Like it's just an additional enhancement for your birth, and that's what I do. And I love it. I started it in 2017.
Wow.
I started my first birth. I cried. It was very odd.
No.
I did not know these people. I was just crying. Like literally crying. It was great. Oh wait, were you gonna ask me something before?
I was gonna let you go with it, but how do we get to doula? We're a flight attendant, living our best lives.
At all times.
And then it's like, well, I have time to pursue other interests, but how did we make that transition?
That transition came from a conversation with my mom. I went through a problem in 2016. In 2016, where I was told that I couldn't have kids. I've always been fascinated with pregnancy. I just think pregnancy is like cool, like for you, like over, like not right. And so I went through this thing where I got misdiagnosed by a doctor. It was a horrible, whole process. And then I started going to an acupuncturist, went plant-based diet, did treatments, holistic health, and then it straightened everything out. It fixed everything.
Interesting.
And so, but at the time I was very concerned about not being able to have kids. And I was just like, well, I want to have kids. I think the pregnancy is amazing. And I wanted to get close to it. But as far as school, I don't like that. Talk about it. I love learning. I don't like being made to learn. So I went to college. I wanted to be a vet, and then I switched to nursing. And when I went to school for nursing, I was just like, I want to do that. I just wanted to literally do the fast forward of helping people, and I love helping people. Like, no matter what it is, I love to be of service. And so I've had about doulas and different organizations, and I looked into it, and I was just like, what could happen? What could I lose? And so I registered for a class, and the rest was history. It was amazing. I went to a class. It was a 3-day class, very intense. But I also like to watch pregnancy videos, which is, birth videos. And there used to be a show on TLC called A Birth Story.
I've seen it. I feel like it's been around for like ages.
It was so, that was a long time ago, but it was so good. And I was just like, look at how does the baby, like, how did your body just know what to do? And so I learned all of that. I went to class, went to training, and then there was only me and one other Black girl in the class. And so obviously we were like, hey girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Tried.
Had to do it. And so we decided to be like each other's backup, and we were going to set up like a whole business. And then we both got a phone call from a very well-known midwife in Dallas. She's retired now. She moved to Paris with her lover, which I love that for her. Like literally just retired. Like didn't tell anyone. But she called us to interview for her, which was like we didn't even like put in an application. And so
but also of course.
Yeah. And so she was just like, you were trained by my friend Linda. Rest in peace, my instructor had got cancer and she passed. But she was like, if you train under Linda, I know that you're the person I need. So she was like, so I want the both of you. And so I was like, look at us. But at the time, my friend Letitia, she was in nursing school. So she was like
double dipping.
Yeah, she was like very high up on the knowledgeable scale because we weren't just coming in as birth doulas, we were postpartum care doulas, meaning like you could die if I missed something. And I was like, oh, we've upgraded. So they took me very fast. So basically, like I had to come in, and after my first birth, this couple comes in, and I have this idea of birth because I've never given birth, you know. Right. I have friends, but they've never had the same situation. Right. And so this woman comes in, and they're just like, yeah, she went into labor last night. She called me at like 6 a.m. She was like, hey, I need you to come in. And so I was like, okay. So she was like, her water broke at 10 p.m. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna come in here screaming. And I walk in, and she's just standing there smiling, and her husband's bouncing on the yoga ball, which I was like, his men. And so because he was great, but he wasn't catching it. But this was their 4th child, natural birth, in this room.
So he's like, we've been here before.
Yeah. And
easy peasy.
And she comes in. So she comes in, and she's just like, hi, how are you? And I'm just like, good, how are you? And she's like, I'm good. And so like she briefs me, and she's just like, her water broke last night. It's been a long time. I told her to just go ahead and come in because, you know, she slept through the night. So she was like, we're going to go ahead and...
She slept through the night in labor.
She said, we're going to go ahead and just get this process started. So we gave them like probably 10 minutes alone so that they could progress labor, which is nipple stimulation is actually really good for your cervix. And so I went upstairs to file paperwork, and then I heard a loud scream, and then I paused because you don't go towards the sound in horror movies. So I just waited, and then they yelled, Jazmin. So I ran downstairs, and I mean, like, she's crowning. Like, the baby's like, I was like, oh, sorry. And so, so I'm just like, okay, well, what do I need to do? Because typically I wouldn't be here until after the baby's born. And so they're like, get her leg. And so I'm like, it's go time. Like, I'm so excited. I'm like, this is what we signed up for. And so like I'm literally holding her leg, and so I'm very observant, and so I'm noticing that her husband is trying to be nice. He's like, you can tell he's read books. He's like, I'm gonna give her positive affirmations. I'm gonna encourage her. But he was only telling her like superficial things, and it was pissing her off. So he's like, you look beautiful. Oh, you look so gorgeous. Oh, honey, and he's like never saying like, you're doing so great. And he's just like, oh, you're just so beautiful. And she's like straight. And it was also my very first experience with a baby being held in, which I didn't know. I know it's a lot. So the midwife was telling her she told her to breathe through. You're supposed to breathe through the pushes, because if not, you can pass out. Okay. And instead, she was holding her breath and pushing, and she's turning bright red. And so she literally just held the baby. Like, she held that baby's head, and she goes, look at me. She goes, if you pass out, we cannot get this baby out. So I need you to follow my instructions and listen to my voice. And so then she lets go of the baby head, and baby head like rests back down. And I'm just like,
because some magic shit.
Yeah. Because the midwife that I worked under, she was right around the corner from Baylor. And she only took your pregnancy if you were a perfect pregnancy and a perfect baby. Meaning she does not do medical interventions like that. She does not do anything like cutting you open. So if there's something that happens in an emergency, she has someone at Baylor. She calls, you go straight there, and they take you in. So she had, and she did what she's supposed to do. And so when she did that, and then the baby came out. I'm gonna get graphic. And so the baby came out, and so her water didn't actually break. It leaked a little bit. Normally it's supposed to be a gush. And so when the baby comes out, all the water just comes. No, it's like it's everywhere. And so I'm just like, this is
pause, if you will, for a second. So this is a natural birth.
No medication. No.
What is the mother in? Like, is she in a bed?
Yeah, she's laying in bed on her back.
On her back, legs up.
Yeah, I'm holding one. Her husband's holding the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in a stirrup situation. You're the stirrup. Okay.
Yeah. There's nothing but just a bed with a pad underneath. There's a bathtub, but she didn't want to. Sorry. There's a bathtub, but she didn't want to get in there because you can't really move as free. Like the water sounds good, but
until it's not.
Yeah, and then you're just like, I need more space. So, but that's how she wanted to birth. And so the head comes out, and her husband's just like, "You look so beautiful." Like he's still saying it.
He got on my nerves, and
she
I'm not even there, guys.
Yeah, and she like turned and she looked at him and she goes, "Stop talking to me." And so I just looked at her and I said, "Hey," I said, "The head's out," and she looked at me with like the most loving eyes, like we've been married for like 27 years. She was like, "Really?"
The bond.
She said, "Thank you so much." I was like, "No problem. You got this." And so she just kept pushing, and that massive baby came out, and I was like, this is my first birth. Like, I'm literally going through because I'm like, not only I've gone from like, this is my first call to this is my actual first birth. Like, and with flying and the doula, they come into the doula position, they come into the same thing. It's literally once you get into it, you'll know what to do. Because no matter you think that you need to read, like with becoming a doula, you need to read a lot of books. But you think that like the books will tell you all the answers, and literally you'll get there and like
none of that stuff is there.
Women know, we just know what to do. Our bodies literally just naturally know what to do. Because once the baby came out, she like cried. I was just like, oh my God. But I couldn't wipe my eyes because, obviously. So I'm just like, it's so great. And so, so then I had to watch, I never watched the placenta come out. I'm sorry. And so
I've seen it.
Your face every time was like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's great.
Seen it. I've seen someone give birth. It was my birth control. Oh, my birth control 101. Shout out to my sister. Her firstborn that I witnessed and was there through. What a lesson. What a lesson.
No, I've never just been like, unless I look like the episiotomy, then that freaks me out. But other than that, I'm like, this is.
I saw that too.
It's You look so traumatized. you look so hurt. But no, so but then that's when I kick in. Baby's here now. We weigh the baby, and it's been 20 minutes. Now I have to make you get up.
I gotta move.
No medication. You gotta get up. I need you to pee, and I need to watch you pee.
Okay.
So she's laying down, and she's laying on the cloth, so I have to take it on both sides. I have to walk with it between her legs, and I have to escort her to the bathroom, and she pees. I have to watch you pee because I have to make sure you're not hemorrhaging. I need to make sure that you're not bleeding more than you normally bleed. So then you pee. You tell me, does anything hurt? Is anything bothering you? No. Here's there's a special bottle that women love. And then she takes a shower, and I also need to watch while she's in the shower. That's just standard blood coming. So then she gets right back in bed, gets dressed, and then you watch the blah blah blah, the dynamics where the dad was so invested, like that baby came, he's thrilled, and then her mom came, and she's so excited to see her mom, and so she puts on like a robe, and then his boss came, and like 5 of their golf friends, and they bring him cigars, and she just looks so discarded. Like it was like the wildest thing I've ever seen, where it was like you watched her go right back to just all right.
Like she didn't just
I was like, bro,
go through
women are literally
process. Very disposable.
Yeah, but she just looked so vulnerable. Like it was just wild that this very powerful woman who I just watched give birth naturally to a like almost 9-pound baby. Sorry, okay. But like, and then suddenly just looks so fragile. And her mom just looked like it's okay. So she brought like one of the kids and the little girl was there. We got to like vote on the name. Like it was really like great. And so, but yeah, so from that point, it was just like, it was almost like just like this high of like, I need to do this again. I need to see this constantly. And then it turned into me reaching out to different people and wanting to do like community work. Like there are centers here where they have teenage homeless, you know, pregnancy. And so they need support because they don't have anyone else. And so working with different organizations, and it's like, I don't know. It's just so I can't describe it. Yeah, it's great. I love it. I love it here. Okay, sorry. I don't know. It had to be done.
So, flight attendant, practicing doula. Will there be a time where you pursue being a doula full time and we leave flight attendant behind?
Hopefully.
Okay.
I've always had this imaginary plan for my life of kids at some kid one.
Not an S.
At some single. At one point, and you know, you kind of need like a person. Well, not really, but it's
2021, guys.
I know, but it's still trying to decide where I'm even actually gonna live, because we all know I live in Arkansas 6 months out of the year. I'm back and forth between here for the other 6, or else I'm, you know, somewhere else. There's really nowhere else. I don't know why I said that. So it's like having to actually pick a city to practice in. And that's the most difficult part, because in Arkansas, they have a ton of networks and it's fantastic. But it's like not really necessarily like oversaturation of doulas. But I've had quite a few conversations with different groups, and a lot of people are not looking at natural births. They're just like, my mom did it and my mom's mom did it and we all got epidurals and everything was fine. But it's like, epidurals are not really, just because everybody else did it doesn't mean you can do things different for yourself. But here, it's like, they're just like, we don't want any of that medication. I want to hire somebody off the top. It's like, yeah, they're.
Would you be interested in a natural birth?
You know what, I would, but then I'm also like, I cry when I get my blood drawn, so I don't really know how that works.
So it may be like epidural on standby.
Yeah, just put it over. But you never know, you can do laughing gas.
And that,
I think that I would just have a really good time. I think it would be funny. Yeah. It's just supposed to help like calm you. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, I want to step away, but for me, it was like this vision of having a nice house and a kid, and I had this child that I had naturally, and then I was out here like helping everybody else naturally and like doing all this type of stuff. But then it's like, kids cost a lot of, I don't know if you've ever done math on children. Kids, and there's a lot of time, and it's like, ooh, I like both of those things.
Well,
so how do I give that to someone? I wouldn't do that. So right now it's kind of iffy, but no, the plan is definitely, I don't want to be, people have been flying for 44 years, and flying is really hard on your body.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so I know I don't want to fly forever. I know I don't. I mean, I do want to be the rich auntie that like flies in town, but I can just buy a ticket.
You're practicing, if I'm not mistaken, rich auntie.
I am.
So
I love that. I love just being that favorite person where I'm just like, hey, okay, gotta go now. You go back to your dad.
Return to sender.
Especially when they be doing the howling. I have 2 cousins that had kids, and I was just like, yeah, I'm definitely just gonna pop in every day and get on y'all. Like, I was like, they're great. They're great. I love them to death, but I am just like, you do this all night?
Every day? Like every single day.
So you really don't just like drop them off. That is so crazy. Like, that's really like your responsibility. That's wild.
All the time.
I don't even pick up my laundry. Y'all remember pick up kids every day? That is so crazy.
Wow.
I would be like, something I forget. Was it an avocado? What did I forget?
Kid just sitting on the playground. Yo, mom forgot.
Yo, literally, again, hey, and you know the school gonna come and be like, You forgot again.
You're literally on speed dial. You whip up the car.
It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great.
It's fine. I'm here now.
Also, I just want a disclaimer. If my best friend watches this, I would never forget your child. Just for the record.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
You are always on her mind.
Yes. I love my niece.
Yes.
She's the best person ever. I would never forget her.
Absolutely.
She also goes to school literally around the corner from the house, so there's no way. But there's also just no way.
There you go. At all. Never could happen.
In the words of my favorite philosopher, ain't no way. Ain't no effing way. Okay. There's no way.
And there you have it, folks. As you can see, how we've kikied and cackled over the years. Jazmin is one of the best I know. And by the best, I mean just human, period. Did you all hear her?
Thank you.
This story? How could you not? How could you not?
It was, they had us in the first. It was a little rough out the gate, but we got a little organized. We get lost at times.
Right. But it's been a journey. Would you say on this journey that you regret anything?
I think I just regret simple things, not giving myself grace. There was a period with both of these careers that, like when my dad passed, I don't feel like it made me question my job because I felt like I was always gone. So that was one thing. But other than that, no. No, this job allowed me to keep my commitment issues. And that's probably something I should.
That is progress, ladies and gentlemen. You're actively working on it.
I know, 8 years.
That is active work and that's proof wild. Of concept, as the people
wild.
Say. If I could, I'm going to celebrate you. We're going to acknowledge
I appreciate
that.
We're
going to acknowledge the things.
And there we are again, not giving ourselves grace.
Here we are. So what would you say to the person... this show I'm interviewing, or this series I'm interviewing Black women, and phenomenal. The focus is on the journey and the things that have impacted them on the journey. Can you recall any moments that made you appreciate what you're doing and why you're doing it?
My first birth, as far as being a doula. The first time I was ever able to have a conversation with one of my friends that was pregnant about, well, have you done X, Y, and Z? And they were just like, what is that? And getting to actually be helpful to someone that I actually know. As far as flying, everything. Anytime that, no, you know what? One of my favorite moments were flying and me and the doula crossed. I was working, I'm going to do that name drop thing again. I was working on Halloween to Hawaii. And I know, I said it.
We're going to put some kind of sound effects anytime she drops these locations that we would love to be in. But yes.
And one of my favorite people that I had never met was on the plane. And it was Miss Erica Wright, Miss Erykah Badu was on the plane. And we all know Erykah Badu is a doula. Her name is Badula. And I got to talk to her. It was
slight flex.
It was amazingly awkward. As awkward as you think I could be, I was. To the point that she looked at me and she goes, if you just let me change clothes, we can take a picture. That's how awkward it was. I just kept looking at her and then looking away. Don't bother her. Don't bother her. And then she literally just came out of the bathroom. She was like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to change. Let me brush my teeth and then we can do it. And so we took a photo. It was amazing because she didn't like it. She took the phone from me and I was like, I'm never getting rid of this phone. The new ones when the new ones come out, but no, she just said, I just told her, huge fan, regular thing. And then I said, I'm currently working to become a doula. And she goes, we would be honored to have you. And I was like, I'm going to do this. Because Erykah Badu.
I got the stamp of
I called my mom. I said, hey girl, appreciate you. Doesn't matter. Because Erykah Badu said, it would be an honor. So therefore, I don't really need anyone else to boost me because I have Badula herself.
Period.
But no, flying, anytime I get to meet people, like, because I've worked for 8 years and I've only flown, I have friends that are flight attendants, and I've only flown with them once. Never seen them again. We have each other's phone numbers. So you never work with the same people. It's kind of fantastic. Sometimes you always have that very rare occasion where you're just like, man, if we could just make it 2 days, I'll never have to do this again. But no, anytime that I fly and I mark off something on my list that I didn't even know was on my list, or something I get to see, it's when I know. It's for the first time ever, because I'm new to this, living in gratitude of every day. So waking up and just going, oh, I don't want to do this trip, but oh man, I can't believe I get to do this trip. Like literally just changing your tone every day. And then you run into amazing people who have the same attitude as you, or you run into people that are just like, I was having a really bad day, but you're funny or whatever, because I'm accidentally apparently funny. But if you told me to tell a joke, couldn't do it. And so it's just those little things where like you actually just get to just go, yeah, let's just all chill and get there. Because why are you cussing her out? Like, please don't cuss out the flight attendant. Like people have been cussing flight attendants out. Not me though. Be safe.
I'm
but it's
not
like
surprised, especially. I can't say post-COVID because people think COVID is gone.
It's not,
and it's still here.
It
is present.
No, like no, legit. Like people get on the plane and they're like mad they still wear masks, or just, and then they're mad that we don't have alcohol, because we don't have alcohol on planes. But we can't serve alcohol until they get rid of the mask, because y'all already acting out. So why would we give you fuel if you're just trying to fight already and you have water? Like that doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't.
But also, okay, so I don't know if you have an answer for this question, but you don't serve alcohol, but you serve snacks, which is mask removal also? Yeah,
they're gonna take the mask off every time I
Okay.
With the recycled thing on the plane. Yeah, we're back to serving just sodas now.
Okay.
So yeah, you get to take your mask off to eat and drink. But they really expect people to go like,
right.
And they're
never we're gonna do it.
Nope.
Never follow the direction ever.
Nope.
Don't even listen to those preliminary instructions.
Literally, they get on the plane with their headphones already on. So.
And I'm asleep as soon as I put my seatbelt on.
Well, that doesn't really sound. As long as your seatbelt's on, though, I guess it's safe.
Yeah.
I was kind of concerned, like, well, no. Okay.
Did the rules change? No. All right. Pillow.
You don't know. You don't know.
I don't. I won't. And most times I'm flying solo, so I'm just hoping
there's no one that's gonna save you. She gonna wake up and fail the test. Like, wait, what are we supposed to do? Everybody off the plane. Here comes Melissa.
So we just pray that I'm covered. Because I missed the whole message.
Like, listen,
I missed the whole message, guys.
That's legit. People really get on the plane. Like, you'll tell people, the captain will come on the PA. Ladies and gentlemen, we're delayed 20 minutes, or we're flying in circles, or whatever it is, and people will go, why aren't we on the ground? And you're like, I'm
just take the headphones.
And I'm a little person, because I'm always gonna go, did you not hear that? I'm always, and I don't know why. It's just a reaction of, we're delayed because we're flying in circles. Well, was someone gonna tell us?
Right.
And then the people, but what I do love is that like people now are also getting fed up with people, so that they'll turn around and they'll just go, he said it. And I'm just like, listen to my girl here. She's gonna keep you safe. Like, listen, like that's it. You can actually like rely on people now.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Like, it's really great.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Because people will literally just come up to you, and it's like being in school. They'll just be like, the guy over there is not wearing his mask right. And you're just like, let me go get him. Let me go get him. And so you walk, and of course, every time you walk up, they fix it. So it's like,
yeah. Have to be the mask police.
I mean, you can't.
For grown people.
Because it's always the adults and not the kids. The kids are okay. The kids are all right.
My God. My God, today.
Adults. And they're real adults, too.
I believe it. Like,
we're
adult. Like,
we're
grown,
like 401k retirement adults. Like, not even like some light.
Like, those are the worst.
Oh.
But that's a conversation for an entirely different day, guys. What would you say for someone who may be interested in moving, but may feel like they don't have familial support, or they'll be alone in whatever city they're thinking about relocating, or they feel that they may be too old to do something like that.
Okay, well, I'll start with that one because you're never too old to do anything. You're never too old to, I didn't know if I was loud enough. You're never too old to do anything. There's nothing, maybe twerking, but there's nothing else that like you should probably just like.
And you can figure that one out.
It's not everyone has Megan knees. But no, as far as not having familial support, it's going to be easier said than done because my answer is going to be that you have to live for you. I didn't realize that until 30 because I was always extremely like reliant on my mother's approval and her answers and her support. And then like it's going to be really weird, but once I started like actually just doing what I wanted, I was like, this is nice.
People do this?
No, I literally even started backtracking and doing things from like childhood that I had always wanted to do, but didn't because my mom like always frowned on it. Like, it's embarrassing to some, but it's not to me. I have never learned how to ride a bike. I did not.
No shame.
I was
no
extremely.
Judgment.
I was a very spiteful young tourist, and my parents tried to teach me how to ride a bike at 7, and I fell. And they recorded it because back then VCRs, the tapes, and so they watched it, they played it back
on loop,
and just laughed. And I was like, I'm never gonna do this again, and I didn't. And then when I turned 30, I was like, I'm gonna take bike riding lessons, and I went. And let me tell you, first of all, don't do bike riding lessons. First of all, find you a friend that'll teach you. Let me tell you what they do to you. They put you on a bike that has no brakes, has no pedals.
Whoa!
There's no pedals, and you need to learn how to balance first. So they put you on the top of a hill, and you need to learn how to go down the hill without braking. That's how I learned. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's how I learned.
That sounds very traumatic.
But I will tell you, I never fell.
Look at you.
I never fell because one thing that I've learned about myself is that I'm never going to hurt myself.
And there you
I don't care.
Talk about a balancing act.
I'm the walking definition of Kevin Hart's kill your side of the car because we good over here on this side. Like, it's never going to happen to me. So I started doing things like learning how to ride a bike and putting random, the hair paint wax colors in my hair because I always just want to color my hair blue. Like, anything I wanted to do, I started doing. I was like, and then that opens the door for more things. So I just think you have to just actually take the first step. And then you'll learn worrying is just putting yourself through it twice because you're crossing a bridge and you don't even see a bridge. Like, you're literally keeping yourself from getting there because you're just like, I can't do it. What if I do it and this happens? And then you do it and none of that actually happened.
Right.
You hyped it up for no reason. So I would
stress
say
for no reason.
Listen. Wait, what was the second? What was the other? Familiar. Oh, and if you feel like that's I was like, wait, there was 2. I went backwards. And if you feel that, was it scared?
No, you actually answered it. I talked about familiar support, but I do like the one about if you have like some apprehension about like safety and things of that nature.
I'm always gonna say move carefully in everything that you do, but move. Like, that's it. Like, staying in the same place, and not even just where you live. Literally, just staying stagnant in anything. You're not gonna breed anything from that. Going to the same job every day, not doing anything different, not even introducing yourself to different hobbies, passion, like not even trying anything is kind of, that's very dangerous. But if you do move, when you move,
I like it.
When you move,
change the language.
Yeah, when you move, do things, just do them cautiously. You can try, because I've learned a lot of people like to do stuff by themselves. You can go places by yourself. I mean, that's unless you want someone to break into your house and that's how you meet people, because I don't recommend that. But like, go out and meet people, but don't force anything. Yes. If you're around people and it feels wrong, because you gotta listen to that gut. If anything feels out of place, listen to it and go home. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't let anybody try to change up. Go home. Because there's snacks there.
And possibly Wi-Fi too.
Listen, and if you got a nice robe, because we
NY.
Set the mood for yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Like, do something nice for yourself. So yeah, like, I just think you have to trust yourself, and that seems hard to do when if you've never done it. If you've always relied on friends, you've always relied on family. Take a second to like get to know yourself. don't relocate to run away from something. Unless you literally need to run away from something. Because then, I mean, like, get people involved. But, like, that's okay. I relocated and didn't learn myself until late 20s. Mm-hmm. I was just out here just like, I've never done this before, let's do it. And then I didn't enjoy it. Because it was never something that I actually thought about doing. I wasn't like, I'm pursuing this or doing this because this will be fun. I was just doing it because I had the opportunity. Do things that interest you.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's straight, if it's weird, you ain't got to tell nobody. Just if you like to go to conventions, yeah.
It's the prophetess.
Like that.
Six.
A queen.
Mm-hmm.
A queen type of brand. But yeah, like it's like just do it for you. Because the moment you move all the other things, I'm doing this for X, Y, and Z. The moment you move all that out the way, you'll see the real reason why you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And it could be the biggest breakthrough you ever have. So 10 out of 10 recommend trusting yourself.
And we're going to end on that note.
I don't know why I did that piece on it. I was like,
Once again, Jazmin, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
this is an honor.
Being you, first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you for allowing the space.
Thank you for taking the time out of what we've learned is your very busy schedule and luxurious lifestyle to be with us on today.
If anyone cares, I go to Wichita Falls tomorrow. It's not even luxurious this week. So just you're listening.
Yeah.
You're listening.
What is balance? What is balance?
That is actual and factual. Because last week I was living it up, and now I'm Wichita.
Here we are. So,
might flex and get on Instagram and change the location tag. No, I'm just kidding.
We will make sure to include all of the social media handles for Jazmin that she wants you all to have, because that's the thing too. Boundaries are important.
Extremely important.
And we'll do this again some other time, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh,
bye.
Too. Okay. I was like, oh, we're doing that. That's great.